Thursday.
Woo!
Oh, look, you switched to Ultra?
Well, it's just, I don't know. I saw it in the store, so I grabbed it.
Hello, everyone. It's Thursday. I forgot to send the email to everyone, let them know the link for tonight. So I don't know if Gabe got it or not. He might show up. He might not. I don't know. So anyway,
I was just going to say, Gabe usually will tell us if he's not going to show up, and he didn't say anything, so he probably didn't
because
get
I
the
forgot
link.
to email everyone.
Yeah.
So my bad. Anyway, it was a busy part of it. Was today was this whole week has been exceptional.
This whole week's been pretty wild.
Yeah, it's been really, really busy, and then to make matters more interesting, like my 3-year-old is at that point in life where he wants to like crawl in bed with us in the middle of the night, so every night 3-4 in the morning or whatever, he crawls in bed and then starts kicking the shit out of me for the rest of the night. So like he'll turn sideways in the bed, like I'm laying like this, Meg's laying like this, and then he crawls in and goes then he's like kick. And then I wake up and I'm like on a sliver of the bed that's half the width of my body, and I'm like, what the hell? And here's Moses on the bed taking up like all the space. He's like, this is the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sucks.
But he's making space for him.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the Focus RS is gone. It's good and
we
bad.
Sent it back.
Yeah, went back home. When we got it, they did not disclose a lot of stuff wrong with it, and they listed it as like a super clean car, which would have been great. That's what we wanted. We wanted a super clean car. But when it shows up and it's got a massive oil leak and all these other things that are cosmetically wrong with it, we're just like, dude, that's not what we paid for. You guys either need to reduce the amount we paid or take it back. And they're like, well, take it back. So, because I think we wanted about $6,000 for everything, because I believe Josh got a quote for the oil fix, and that alone was like $4,000 or $5,000.
I didn't get a quote. I just looked it up at Book Time and everything, and it was like, it was like a $5,000 job because the head gasket had to be redone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, we were bummed about that. So anyway, we're still on the hunt for one because we really want to get one. I got to drive it a little bit. It's a really fun car, but the hardest part about those cars, actually, I was joking with Meg about this. The Focus RS and the Subaru WRX STI are impossible to find unmolested. Like every single one of them on Earth has been modified, and we want them. Like they're such cool cars, but we don't want like some bastardized project that someone, threw way too much boost on it and then blew up stuff and then dumped it on the wholesale market. So we're very, very cautious about those cars. And, it's just like, I don't know about that. Like it's tough. So yeah, Evos. Oh yeah. Evos as well.
Evos are even more, they're even harder to find.
Actually,
there's an Evo 8 on Cars and Vids right now that I really like.
Nissan GTRs.
Oh yeah.
All
GTRs.
of them. Every single one of them has been modified. It's impossible. Yep. So, what can you do? So, yeah, Focus is gone. I guess quick shop update. So, let's see. We just got Tyler's car back from Dallas.
Yay.
Finally.
Have you driven it much?
I drove it home, or actually I drove it for 2 days.
Nice.
Just because I wanted to see if there's any gremlins, and there's a few.
Oh, well.
But nothing serious.
Okay.
That parking sensor thing is kind of annoying.
Oh yeah, it's been like
but
that.
But it had that when we had it, the first time around.
Yeah.
As long as there's music playing, you don't notice it.
The other thing is the tire pressure warning light randomly comes on.
Oh really?
And then it'll say, call McLaren service, tire pressure fault, and then it'll just turn off on its own randomly.
That's new.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Yeah. It does sound good.
It does.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah, that with the turbo sound coming out of
Yeah.
it, it's
Yep. And then we pulled the foam out of the airbox, so you get more of the
Oh,
whooshing
yeah.
sound.
Oh,
and
oh,
the
is that what
inside.
you could definitely
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah, sounds so good.
That car though is too fast is the problem.
It is.
It's like really doesn't have a ton of low end power, and so you have to have the RPMs higher, but when you have the RPMs higher, you're going like 100.
Yeah.
And so there's not really a lot of places you can just rip it.
It's true. Like doing that last FCA drive, like I could hear the Ferraris all going up and down gears, having a
Yeah.
riot, and I was like, I couldn't go out a second because
Yeah.
otherwise I was so slow, or I was right up someone's ass. Like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. But I mean, once you get it going, you get it on an open straight or something and step
Oh,
on it,
man.
it's like, Jesus, this
Oh,
thing is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's a riot.
What up?
hey, sorry, I
up?
totally forgot to send the link earlier.
That's fine. I assumed it was coming or it wasn't, and it didn't come, so I didn't join.
I just was busy all day, and then like Tyler joined like 4 minutes before it started, and I'm like, oh yeah, other people.
yeah. I finally saw the link, and I was like, should I join? I was like, you guys joined late. I was like, I'm gonna watch it anyway, so I might as well talk with you guys, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, hey Tyler, 48 thoughts now. Driven it anymore?
A little bit more. Well, we kind of talked about it last weekend. Like, there's more. I don't know, is it emotions the word driving it? Like,
Passione.
yeah. Well, the McLaren's the McLaren's butter smooth every time you shift, no matter what like setting you're in. The Ferrari changes. Like if you're in, auto mode and sport, it shifts just like the McLaren. You never know it's shifting. And if you manually shift, and it lets you know, like, oh yeah, there's gears here. And then in race mode, when manually shifting, it hits you. Not quite like the Scud, but it hits you. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
it's good. So
there's more variance between modes.
well, more on the transmission at least.
Right. Are you driving it in auto, or is that like just sacrilege?
Sacrilege. But going out of the neighborhood, like letting it warm up, I don't care. I'm just
Sure,
driving auto.
Yeah. Interesting question. So 2025 is on the way. What does the calendar look like for devaluation tours or activities? Definitely not doing any more devaluation tours. That ship has sailed. We are done with that. I'm not going to bother even trying. We tried it this one last time. I couldn't get enough people, so we lost money on it because I had a prepay for everything and then get refunds, and some of the hotels wouldn't refund me because it was within the cancellation period or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so we lost money to not host a tour. So yeah, we're done with that. As far as activities, we definitely will do another barbecue or 2 or 3, depending. We definitely will host the. Well, I shouldn't say definitely. We've told the Ferrari Club of Austin that we are willing to host another barbecue.
Cool.
As far as drives, we're probably going to do a drive in Tennessee and North Carolina doing the Tail of the Dragon. And what's probably going to happen for that is we're just going to book hotel rooms and tell you what hotel we're at and what days we're at, and feel free to book them yourself. And if you happen to want to join us on drives that day, you are welcome to. And if you don't, you don't. But there's not going to be any agenda or any planned routes or whatever. It's just going to be whatever. So there you go.
Good way to do it.
Yep. As far as everything else, I don't know. I mean, that's as far as I've thought ahead at this point. I know Josh and I talk about all the time. We're like, we need to do more events. I want to try like hosting a car show there, although it'd be small, like not necessarily a car show, but like a car meetup. That's not necessarily just Ferraris, like maybe like a supercar event, but the problem is it really needs to be like RSVP and that sort of stuff, just because we have such limited parking.
Yeah. Would you try to make money off that, or just
no, just for fun?
Yeah, I get it though. It's hard if you're running a business. It's hard to do optional events if you're trying to make money, because it's like
yeah, it's a lot. It can.
I mean, we talked about like when we do the barbecues, if we can just get people to cover the costs, then we're happy.
Yep.
You know, so like basically we've done 2 or 3 barbecues now so Tyler's made 2 barbecues for us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and then you did the grand opening.
Yeah, the
So
grand
3.
opening we catered a third party. And honestly, the stuff where Tyler made the food for us was perfect. I don't know. Tyler, I think, enjoyed it. And then we charged just enough money that it basically covered our costs. And I just
Yeah.
paid Tyler however much he needed to make food. Plus, I gave him some extra because let's be real, he's just doing this and deserves a little extra. So, yeah. We'd love to do a collab with JR Garage. I should hit him up. I'm going to be visiting my parents soon. They're in Phoenix.
I thought he was in Kansas.
Oh, JR? No, you're thinking of JR. Watch JR Go.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's
Who's
too many
JR?
JR.
I always thought those were the same guys for some reason.
I thought he was talking about Joe Rogan.
Oh,
Any of them would be open to. Drive it up to Banff. Oops, sorry.
yeah, we'll just make a 30-hour drive.
Yeah. No thanks.
That would be cool though. Banff is pretty awesome.
I think maybe this question's for me. I've never driven a Boxster. I would say it depends on the size of the roads. Like if they're higher speed, probably a Boxster, but if they're like really short and twisty, probably a Miata.
The
I don't
Boxster feels heavier and more sluggish than a Miata does.
Right. So if you need to carry more speed, probably
Right.
to have the equal amount of fun.
Yeah.
Ben had a good question earlier.
Do you feel that Ferrari in general aren't impressive on the first drive, but more drive it the more you love it? Whereas McLaren and Lambo are more impressive off the bat? I know.
Yeah.
I totally
don't-
disagree with that.
As someone who's probably driven the least, well, I don't know, Tyler, like the fewest Ferraris, certainly us less than Dan and Josh.
Yeah, we're
But
probably tied. If
None
not.
of them have been underwhelming on the first drives.
Oh no.
So,
You haven't driven an old one.
I mean, a
Okay.
355, I guess, but yeah, and the 360 felt a lot quicker, both stick shift. But
Yeah.
like driving your 458 was not underwhelming. at
Yeah,
all.
no.
Well, you know,
No.
the first time I drove a Huracan, I was kind of like, eh. I wasn't as impressed with it because I guess I had this image in my mind of it's supposed to be a certain way, and it didn't live up to that for some reason.
Yeah,
And it just felt I don't know, it didn't feel like I expected.
I also think for the turbo cars, so the McLarens, you get on it and then there's a delay and then the turbo spool up and then it hits you like a freight train. And I think that for a lot of people it's like, holy shit. Like
I like that. I like
It's
that
fun,
about
yeah.
it. I like
Right,
that
so
about
it's
it.
fun. And I think that like it provides a unique experience in that regard. It's
Yeah.
not like a lot of if all the older naturally aspirated Ferraris are very linear, right? So they pull really hard,
Mm.
but it's pulling hard the whole time.
Even the 488 and the F8 are like that.
Yeah.
Well, especially
They're
after
pretty
a
linear.
tune.
Well, I mean,
Well-
they're pretty
Oh, yeah,
linear.
they're linear. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
they've done a really good job of trying to make it so it's really easy to track the car, so you want it linear.
yeah. You hit the rev limiter on first gear so quick in the 48 because I'm used to waiting forever
yeah.
for that boost to hit, but the 488's already like, nope, let's go second gear.
So have you noticed? I swear to God, Ferrari cheated, and they do a fuel cutoff before the red line on the 488.
Yeah.
really.
I think so.
Yeah. I think they do. Yeah.
Because it starts pulling like 500 RPM before the red line. So either the tach is lying and it's 500 slow, or they're pulling fuel 500 below they say they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So you're saying it loses power at the top of the rev band?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like it falls off a cliff for the last 500 RPM.
Yeah. It feels like you hit the rev band. You look down and you're like, I'm nowhere near it. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
I'm like, I
Yeah.
got 500 to go.
Like the lights aren't even
Oh, no.
flashing yet.
Yeah.
And that's just the 488, not the 458, right? Not with the
No,
NAs?
no, not the 458. The 458 will smack the rev limiter and go.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well,
give a shit.
it almost feels like it's shifting, but it's really not. It just kind of
Mhm.
jerks you a little bit.
Yeah.
It feels like it's pulling timing like crazy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I saw this one scrolling. If you had a 360 engine out, what would you do? It's sitting in my living room
Hmm.
in front of a huge contemporary art painting. I call it art on art.
I'd make it a coffee table.
Yeah, put a piece of
definitely
glass
coffee
on that.
table.
That would be cool. Especially if it's
Wow.
got the valve, the intake cover on it.
Yeah, got to have the intake on it. Josh and I keep talking about we want to go to that.
I'm definitely gonna go.
We should
I
go.
definitely
I
want
mean,
to go.
my parents
Yeah.
live in the area, and you got friends or family there, right?
Yeah, I do.
So totally, we need to go. It's a good
Yeah,
excuse.
we're definitely going.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's going on with SF90 prices? Same as F8 spiders now.
They're flushing down the toilet. The SF90 is the same price as a 296 now, which is
Holy cow.
crazy.
It's just like a
Jeez.
crashing plane. Every time we talk, they're still
They're-
going down.
Well,
Nobody
I mean,
wants them. Nobody wants them.
no one wants to own
It's-
one of those when the batteries or the hybrid system has a problem.
And they'll sell
Which-
you their battery replacement plan or whatever, but it's astronomically expensive.
Yeah. It's like driving a golf cart until you hit 3,100
Yeah,
RPM.
the McLaren, yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. The linear power can be less exciting, right? But that's, I think,
For a track car, it's perfect because
right.
it's very predictable.
Hmm.
So if I was on a track, you'd definitely be better.
that's interesting. Chris Harris talked about the 488 soft limiter. I'll have to
Interesting.
see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never driven a Pista, but I'd be curious to see if the Pista does go all the way up and then smacks the limiter
Yeah.
more like
Jocko's here, right?
Yeah.
You can tell.
Jocko, I might have hit the red limiter in his.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Jocko.
does it do the classic stutter limiter or does it do the pull timing?
I don't remember. It was
Because the
over a year
488
ago.
feels like it just starts pulling timing.
If
until
I
it's
really seriously doubt a Pista, they would do that in a Pista.
Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah.
see that.
Right.
Josh's was better. Oh,
I
wow!
didn't see Josh's video. I must have I
I
missed it.
didn't
Or
do. There were shorts.
yeah, no, I saw your short. I don't know. I got to go back and find it.
The shop
Yeah.
smelled like burnt rubber all day. It was
Nice.
great.
It was awesome. It was great. There are a ton of SF90s and 296s. They're
Yeah.
everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
hundreds of them.
I'm surprised the 296 hasn't started dropping. Like they're still $500,000.
There's some coming down.
We've seen them in the threes.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, on the wholesale market.
Oh okay. Yeah.
I would agree with this. Chris Harris is a pretty damn good journalist driver.
Yeah, he races quite a bit too.
And the way he talks about things is really good. Like it's understandable and like I don't want to pick on anyone in particular, so I'm not going to give any names, but there's certain people who are reviewers or whatever, and they just talk about the car in a way that like doesn't really give you a sense of what it actually feels like.
Mm.
And
I
it's
like
re-
that guy called JM on
Oh,
cars.
yeah. Yeah, the
Oh.
British guy.
The
Oh,
British guy.
JM.
I really like that guy for some reason. He's very relatable.
Yeah. He is.
He's kind of got like that dry, very British way
Yeah.
of describing things.
Which is what I like.
Not bad.
Yep.
Like I feel like there's always some quip about like some analogy, like, oh, this thing is like the way you butter your toast in the morning. It's like, oh, some British thing. You're like, oh yeah, of course, I know exactly that. Jay, let me tell you about my 3 Ferraris M.
Yeah.
Harris Sutcliffe. I don't know
Sutcliffe.
who's that
Yeah.
one.
I know the name. I can't
Yeah,
think of his
same.
face.
I'll be honest, I don't know any of the others.
I have no idea who any of those are except for
I only
Harris.
know Harris.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Jeremy Clarkson's the OG. Like, come on,
Clarkson, yeah.
He's a good driver too.
he is.
I like the way Harry talks about his cars when he's sitting there, but when he drives them, I don't get a whole lot out of it.
Hmm.
Like he's got insane knowledge of these things. Like he kind of reminds me of like what I feel like I would do if I was super wealthy. I'd have this big collection of cars, and I would just go out and drive them across the country with the motorboat engine in the front of a Testarossa.
Fair enough.
I hope some people caught that. Remember that video
Oh, yeah.
Ferrari subreddit in shambles for what?
with what? Is it? Oh, subreddit. Oh, sorry. For some reason, I thought you were talking about the other thing.
What is that though?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Run delay from when we say words to when we see them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Randy,
like Randy Popes is good.
Randy Popes
Yeah.
would take the cake in terms of driving.
I think he's a better driver than Chris Harris.
Yeah.
I think Chris Harris does a better job of explaining stuff.
Agreed.
But both of them are very good. And I could listen to them driving, sitting there talking about the cars all day long.
Chris Harris likes to go sideways a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing is for TV, that's what you want, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You can't it won't let you post links on a live.
Oh yeah.
They just aren't gonna let you because
It's funny. It's funny because I go back and watch that video every once in a while. I actually watched it like 2 days
Really?
ago. I watched
When
the
he's
whole.
in there eating the
I
chocolate.
watched the 430 review that he did, and then I watched the 430 verse 458 again. And yeah, he gets in James May's car and he's like eating the chocolate and he's like wiping his pants. He's like, James told me not to eat in his car. I'm like,
And they like wipes on the steering wheel and oh
Yeah.
gee. Like what an asshole.
Yep. So good.
Uh,
I like Seen Through Glass too. Like he doesn't really talk about the cars as much, but you can tell like his emotions are real when he's driving the car.
yeah, he's
So,
got a very genuine
yeah.
like the way he just is happy about this stuff. You can tell he's excited.
Yep.
That sort of thing. Oh yeah, Tiff Needle. He was pretty good.
Nadell.
Nadell, whatever.
And Richard Hammond's probably my favorite.
Mm.
Like
I
car
love
dude.
Hammond.
He's so cool. He's very suave about everything.
Yes.
Jeez. Could you imagine?
Wow.
10 million. Okay. It's like, yeah, why not? I'll sell my Zonda for 10 million. You know what's funny is when the Zonda came out, I thought it was kind of ugly, and now that it's aged, I kind of like it more and more.
Oh, 100%.
Like the older it gets, the more I'm like, I could
Yeah.
dig that. Like I could see rocking an old Zonda, and then of course they shot up in value, and you're like, never mind.
Yep. Or I won't.
What is number 27?
Hmm.
I don't know. Well, anyway, let me go get a beer, and then I'll talk about this other thing.
I wonder what we're going to talk about. So there's a lot of crap that happened this week.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think
really?
Dan gave me a preview earlier, so I think
Okay.
Was it about what we did today?
yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see what people's comments are.
Is it
Yeah.
all stuff you can talk about?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Sure. Talk about stuff.
Yep.
I'll do what I want.
Do what I want.
What
Well,
Debbie?
we got a long lost car back today,
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
and a big project upcoming on it.
Okay.
does anyone remember about 3 years ago we bought a Murcielago?
What's that?
It's an orange car that breaks very easily
Oh,
and
yeah.
costs
Yes.
a whole lot of money.
But
when
it it
they
sounds and looks cool.
The
but they
ones you died
sound
to speak
amazing. Yeah, so actually it's technically our friend Carrie's car, and we found this Murcielago. It was at the time the cheapest Murcielago in the world that wasn't like salvage title or whatever. And so we were going to do all this stuff with it. And I think I drove it, like Carrie never even got to drive it. I don't think you ever drove it, Josh, did you?
I drove it in the parking lot.
You drove it in the parking lot. I think I drove it a total of twice before it broke. So I know I took it to lunch one day where you and I went to lunch.
Jeez.
and then I think I drove it one other time, and that's when it started acting up. And then the next time we tried to drive it, it just wouldn't go.
It was
So
the transmission position
clutch-
sensor or
well,
whatever.
the clutch was done,
Yeah,
and the E
that
gear.
was the clutch was slipping. That's right.
The clutch was slipping, and the e-gear system was not holding pressure and stuff correctly. So it was just like done, right? So anyway, it was sent off to a shop to get work done about 3 years ago. And then crickets for about 3 years.
Yeah. At least it wasn't in more buildings that caught on fire. That's always a plus.
That's true. That's true. It wasn't in buildings that caught on fire.
I have an idea of where I think this may be going, but I'm not sure. When it got sent to the shop, did you still own it? You paid that shop
Carrie.
to work on it? Oh, Carrie owned
Carrie
it.
owned
right,
it.
okay.
Yeah, Carrie paid for a lot of stuff to get work done. And a lot of stuff did happen, but it never got finished. So a ton of money was spent on it. E-gear was rebuilt, new clutch, throwout bearing, valve cover gaskets. Everything was done. Basically everything that you do to one of those cars when you pull the engine got done. Right? So it's like the goal was take care of everything so you don't have to do crap for like 10 years on this car. Oh, this is the Murcielago that was bought about 3 years ago, the orange one.
Put up the picture of it.
Well,
Yeah.
So today I went to that shop and I picked up said Murcielago
And its accoutrement.
and the associated parts. So here it is with the engine.
It's now a
In
front
my-
engine, Mercy.
Yeah, it's now a front engine, front transmission. And a nice
Oh,
layer
no.
of dust. And
Oh,
so I transported the car, and you can see its beautiful glory there in the sunlight with its patina of barn fineness, and with a lacking of a rear end there, no wing and stuff. Yeah, okay.
No lights.
No tail lights.
Oh boy.
That's about what I said when I saw that.
Beautiful shell.
It's missing a little bit of stuff there. So here's all the stuff laying on the floor, and there it is, washed. Yay! So it is a new project. We have partnered up with Machina, and it is going to get converted into a manual.
All right.
And it's getting a Capristo straight piped exhaust
Ooh, shit.
Yeah, so I
with headers and everything.
the whole thing. So I was like, if we're gonna do this, let's do it right. So I reached out to Capristo and I'm like, hey, we're gonna do this conversion on a Mercy. Would you guys be interested in participating? They're like, yes, we would.
Nice.
And they're like, here's our offer. They reduced the price of this exhaust ridiculously for us, and so we're like, yes, we will graciously take that. So we're going to partner up with Capristo and with Machina. It is going to take a while. It'll be a while because it's in the queue. Like, there's two other Murcielagos that are getting worked on first. But I would guess maybe late December, early January, it should be done.
Nice.
Did that
So-
shop
You
do
said that-
anything?
Yeah, you said the engine's completely done though, right?
The
Like,
engine's
it's
done, but
dropping.
they got to still convert it.
Okay.
Okay, so that shop did some things that they promised.
Yes. They did a lot of the stuff. The unfortunate thing is they redid the entire e-gear system, and now we're going to throw that out. But we're hoping that maybe we can like sell it to someone else who needs it, because it's basically a brand new e-gear system. So I mean, like the actuators, the pump, the accumulator, all that stuff, all got replaced.
Wow.
So the good thing is what we're gonna do all this and document it and whatever, and probably make a bunch of videos, and then it will be for sale.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
You gonna put
Yeah.
that engine back in?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
I'm not.
You got a good
We-
host.
We might go help them out.
I want to go there when they do it. I want to see it. Like, So I was at Makina today dropping it off. And the whole time I was like, every time you're gonna do something that's cool,
Yeah.
call me before you do it. Like, call me the day before you're gonna work on it so I can drive out there and film it. Like, I don't care what it is. If it's gonna look good on video, I want to be there.
Yeah.
Fair
So,
enough. They're in
The
what,
cost-
Jarrell or
Yeah, Gerald.
Gerald, yeah.
okay?
The cost on those conversions, I think they start at 50 grand.
Yeah, it's somewhere 45 to 50,000.
Wow.
Yep. And this is a proper engine out actual conversion.
And our car is an LP.
Yeah, it's an LP 640.
Is converting Mercies newer than the 430s and 360s? Like,
Yeah.
They
that a
just
newer-
they
a
just
newer
are they just completed like their first one recently,
Okay.
and they're working on 2 more right now in their shop, and they're getting a queue going.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work than any of the other cars to convert.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It's a ton of work. You got to pull the engine and trans and do all this stuff, and yeah. If you're
My
gonna do it,
my thinking is the first cars are going to be worth a fortune. Everybody's going to want them, the converted cars, because they're still going to be probably half or less than an OE
oh yeah,
car.
an LP manual is like $800,000 right now.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if that one's
There you go.
literally as I'm saying it.
See you, Joe.
so if that one's worth 400, which I doubt it'll be worth that
I don't
much.
even think it'll be that.
I would say in the low threes, mid threes, maybe
Yeah,
in a perfect world. I mean, for a drive, that one's got miles on it. I think it's 60,000 miles.
yeah, it was
High.
up there. Yeah, and it's to be fair, it's a driver's quality car. It's got a lot of paint flaws, which
yeah.
I think might get addressed. We haven't really totally hammered out the plan on that because what it really needs is like a full repaint. So you're talking
Mm.
like
There-
15, 20 grand.
It's really just the bumpers and the ground effects on like the side skirts.
Well, and then that rear section also got messed up. Remember where that they literally glued that side marker on?
Oh
over the
yeah, that's
hole.
right.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Was that on the bumper or on the car?
It was on the body.
Oh yeah.
So stupid. That car was the epitome of like the Instagrammer who owns a supercar. Like didn't know anything about the car, you know, because literally it was owned by an Instagrammer before we bought it. So
Well, I can't wait to drive it. it's
Yeah.
gonna be
no
awesome.
kidding. I mean, it sounded great before, and it had the world's worst exhaust. So I can't wait to hear what it sounds like with the Capristo, with the prop. I mean, headers, cat deletes, and a Capristo muffler section.
Dang.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And I was reading, if you change out the headers to full headers, like if you the factory stuff to full headers and a cat delete on those cars, there's dyno proven results of 100 horsepower increase.
You're kidding.
100.
Dang.
So it's going to be an LP 740.
I think the EAG Murcielago doesn't really exist.
Yeah. I
What do you
mean, the
mean?
difference is Makina is a real company. We're not even going to talk about the other one.
Fair enough.
Only
Like-
that if you go there and do business with them, you're asking for it.
Yeah.
That's all we're gonna say.
In our opinion.
The to change the subject abruptly, but I noticed when I was taking stuff out of the McLaren, I don't know, you should see if you can get a camera in there, but the Inconel exhaust on the X pipes turned all blue and purple.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, like that's some good shit, Klein. Good job.
Yeah.
Too bad you can't see it on
I know.
that
Too bad
car.
you can't see it
know.
unless you pop off the whole rear section.
You can kind of like look down in there and see it, but yeah, I was just making sure I had all my stuff out. I was like, oh yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about them, just so you know. I wouldn't believe anything unless you see it in person.
There you go.
So they don't deserve any free advertising, so we're not going to talk about them, is my theory. But we can gladly talk about Makina.
So Makina's in Austin?
They're in Gerald,
Close. Okay.
which is
Drivable.
northeast of well, it's like you take 35 north and you go past Georgetown and then keep going,
Yep.
it's
Oh.
there. It's
not
up
too
there.
bad, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's actually a really good business reason to do the Murcielago before the Gallardo or R8, which is that the valuation gap is so substantial that people are probably willing to pay a larger premium for it.
Mm.
So if you figure it out, you can make more money, right?
The R8 V10s and Gallardos are only worth 80 to 100 grand on a good day. You know,
so it's hard when you get a car that's like under $100,000 and then you want to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 converting it to a manual. People have a hard time with that. It's like we get a ton of emails from people who are like, "Oh, I've got a Maserati Gran Turismo. Can we convert it into a manual?" And we're like, "Dude, the manual would cost more than the car."
Yeah.
Like, no one's ever going to do that. Like, it's not worth it because no one's going to be willing to pay it.
Yeah.
You know, like I think these people are thinking it's going to be like a $5,000 thing or something. It's like, no, it's going to cost like $25,000, $30,000. And your car is only worth like $25,000, $30,000.
You gotta
For
really
better or
love that
worse.
car.
Right? So it's like, sorry, man, no one's going to want to do that.
there is a company in Alabama that's doing them that's pretty reputable that I talked to, and they wanted to do something together, but we just haven't had time to deal with it or get a Gallardo or R8. At some point, we probably will, though.
Yeah. And, you know, like if you, well, here's the funny thing about the Murcielago. I was actually talking with Makina about this, and they're like, yeah, the Mercy is a total pain in the ass to convert because they went through 4 different iterations of the console.
Oh.
So we had the pre-LP, and they made 2 different versions of the console depending on the year, and then the LP 640 had a different console, and they changed that one twice.
Oh, jeez.
And so they're like, yeah, until we go through all the different iterations, we will have to make a new console every time, which means a new carbon fiber mold or a new mold and all this stuff. So like so actually when I told them what car we had, they're like, yes, it's another one. We get to make a new mold. So we've got 3 of them knocked out.
That's cool.
So like we only need 1 more. But it's like, geez, like, you know, just pain in the butt, stupid things like that like for the 430, there's the leather console, there's the carbon fiber console, and there's a composite console, and that's it. You know, so it's in the composite and carbon fiber ones are really easy to deal with, and same with the leather one. I mean,
Are you talking about they're making different shift gates?
No. The gate's the same.
Okay.
The console where the gate sits, because you have to redo it because where the buttons go and
True.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, there's I'm sure if one of you is interested in learning more about Murcielago conversions, there is an ungodly amount of stuff going on the internet right now about it, but I don't care to get into it. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It is a modified factory ECUs and stuff, so you don't have to do no standalone, no nothing. No lights in the dash, no BS. It just works. No, we still use Dr. S, which is now Cambio Emanuele. We just he only makes 43360 kits. He doesn't do any other kits. So if you're talking about Murcielago, doesn't exist for him. If you're talking about 509s, doesn't exist for him. So yeah, we still like those. Absolutely. Excuse me, hiccup and a burp. I'm sure you want to know that.
So what else are you doing to the black car since that video went out today?
the black car. Oh,
Cryptic.
man, yeah, that thing. It needed a lot.
What do we do? Engine mounts, trans mounts,
Mount,
valve cover
trans.
gasket, spark plugs, all 4 rotors and pads on all 4 corners.
Oh wow.
The conversion, of
The
course.
CV boot clamps are
CV
failing.
boot clamps.
Spark
Wow.
plugs.
I think that's it. I
Might
feel
be
like there
about
might be
it.
another couple things, but yeah, that car should be done and out of there soon.
Cool.
Yeah, probably early to mid to late next week. It'll be done.
I finished installing the Novatec suspension on the 599 today.
Ooh.
KW technically.
Well, KW or Novatec by KW
Yeah.
is what it says on the shocks. But
Yeah.
and put the GTO wheels on it, so it looks a lot better.
Nice.
And they're coming tomorrow to finish that car, hopefully.
Nice. Will it sit
Yep.
a little lower?
Yeah,
Briefly.
it's coilovers. I'll get it adjusted so it has a nice little stance.
I think they can do a challenge Stradale. I don't know. I know they've done Scud. In fact, there was a Scud at the shop right now being finished, so they've got that.
Yes,
one down.
they do the Challenge Stradale. It's a new center console. They have it. They make it.
Oh, they do have it now. Okay.
Yeah.
I know they last time I'd asked about it, they said they were working on it, but I guess they must have finished it. Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys are your second gen Super G.
Well, the Super Gs are undervalued. I think
no kidding.
tremendously undervalued.
Yeah. Speaking of, we believe we have a deal on the Super G. Although I'm going to knock on wood.
Ooh.
'Cause,
No, I think the guy just emailed like an hour ago and said
Yep.
he's good to go. So I think it's
Yep.
pretty much sold.
For Steve?
Sweet.
Yep,
yeah.
Steve's.
Nice.
That's cool.
So just got to do paperwork and transfer money and stuff. And if so, then
There you go,
Alright.
Steve.
This dude has never had a supercar, and he was gonna buy a crappy high mile regular Gallardo for way too much money. And we were like, "Hey, dude, if you're gonna spend that much, buy a Super Leggera for."
Hell
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
what are you doing?
yeah,
Hell yeah.
He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I'm like, "Well,
we're like for a little bit more
Step
money.
into my shop.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because he was a consultation client, and
Perfect.
so like we first really discussed the car he was genuinely interested in, because that like we have to kind of not we don't want to do consultations where we're just pushing our stuff,
Yeah.
right? So we're like discussing and feeling them out, and then finally we're probably a good half hour into the phone call. I'm like, what's your realistic budget for this whole acquisition? He's like, oh, he tells me the budget, and I'm like, I'll be honest, man, for just a little bit more money, you could buy a Super Leggera. He's like, no, I can't afford one of those. I'm like, yeah, we have one, and we will sell it to you for this much money. He's like, well, I never even thought about that.
not only that, that car is gonna hold its value way better
right.
than a regular Gallardo.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
not even close."
Well, and it was like, so then we went over discussing this car and stuff. So, by the way, just so you know, if you do a consultation with us and then you end up buying one of our cars, we're not going to charge you for the consultation because it's kind of like a conflict of interest, right? So we're going to credit the consultation against the car. Like, we're not going to, that would be really douchey of us to be like,
Yeah.
pay us to have us convince you to buy our car.
Actually, that's a hell of a market. You should market.
Right? Yeah. Actually, never mind. This is a new service we offer.
We sell ice to Eskimos.
Yeah. People like being treated
down,
like
come
shit.
on down
so-
to NG Supercars, where we will tell you to pay us
Yeah.
as we figure out what car of ours you'd like to buy.
Leo, I would sell it for the right number.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Well, good
It
on
is-
Steve.
It is a nice car.
Steve will
Yeah.
have some more plane money.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
I like Nashville. Nashville's cool.
go get some hot chicken.
There.
Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah, so it's
Oh, Dan,
what-
I circling back to another car, the 458. The 458 we got,
yeah.
I was sold before we even got it back to Austin.
Another
And-
one?
Yeah,
Or that
The
one
gray,
from
the
last
gray
week?
roof.
the gray roof car. We did brakes on it yesterday.
Yep.
So that was super easy. Dan did all the work on that. I hardwired a radar detector while he was doing the brakes, and then we replaced that sensor, and that was good. And then it has this random tire pressure warning light, and I fought with it forever today. Tried everything, couldn't get it to work. And Dan, I was like, all right, I'm gonna drive it home and see
If it
if
goes
putting
away.
miles on it. And then I got halfway home, and it popped up and was like TPMS error or something, and the flashing really fast, and it wouldn't stop.
It got worse.
It got worse. And I'm like, God damn it. So I was like, all right, I just brought this car home for no freaking reason. So I got home, parked it, and then I took Cooper to basketball. And as I'm driving back from basketball, the light turned off and all the tire pressures came up on the screen. I'm like, hell yes.
Okay. So it just really needed to be driven.
It needed to be driven.
Wow.
Crazy.
So I was reading the Ferrari chat, and I take everything there with a grain of salt. But somebody said, just drive it for a while and it'll fix itself. And I'm like, all right, well, that's the last thing I'm going to try.
Nice.
So it's
All
working
right.
now, and the car's 100% now, ready to go.
That car, let me tell you. Okay, so this car itself, this is to show you how every car has a story, right? So we, viewer of the channel, really nice guy, asks us how much we would be willing to buy it for. We tell him a number. He doesn't like the number. He's like, I'm gonna try and sell it myself. He doesn't sell it himself. He comes back to us like a month or two later. He's like, all right, it's yours. Take it for the number. Like, okay, Josh is gonna fly out there and look at it. So Josh flies out there, drives the car, takes pictures, all that stuff, sends me the pictures. So I'm posting the pictures on Instagram as Josh is flying home. And 3 people were like, I want it. And the one guy was like, quick on the draw. And he's like, I'm dead serious. I want it, blah, blah, blah. So, we're like, okay, like, give us a deposit. It's yours, blah, blah. We'll sell it for this much money. It's like, but I want you guys to make sure it's okay. So like, get it back to your shop, drive it a little bit, go over it, really thoroughly. Okay, sure. So we get the car, it gets unloaded from the transport. And I think I told you guys this last week. And I drive it. So we back it off the truck, get it parked, turn it off. Everything was fine. No lights. I started up to drive it back to the shop from the transport truck, and wigs out, goes into limp mode. And you're like, you gotta be kidding me, right? So I drive it back, and I'm like, Josh, was it doing this for you? And he's like, no. So turns out that the speed sensor on the ABS right rear died.
Yeah, so crazy.
And so it caused it to go into limp mode. So
It had every freaking light on from just that sensor.
Everything failed, right? It was like, every possible thing. So we fixed that. Then the TPMS, after we fixed that, decides to wig out, which Josh apparently just fixed by driving. Just shows you like stupid crap that like this stuff happens on these cars. Like it's it's not like they're always perfect, or whatever. But the other thing I wanted to point out is if you are buying a car from us and there's certain things you want done to the car, we're willing to do those things generally, while it's at the shop. So like we told him, we're like, hey, the brakes are good, but they're probably about like 70% worn. So like, he's like, you know what? I want you guys to just put on new brake pads. So we looked, we basically charged him a very reasonable rate, and the car knew it was Christmas time. It's like jingle bells.
Italian
That'd be a nice
Christmas
Easter
tree.
egg.
Yeah. Right.
Scud
So you
for
did-
240K. That's a pretty.
Could be. That seems cheap.
We need more details.
Yeah. I mean, it could be cheap or it could be
'Cause
horrible. It depends.
I know where there's a Scud for less than that, but it's got some miles on it.
Usually, like the accent scuds too.
Yeah.
So you did the brakes. What? Anything else with that car?
Josh installed hardwired a radar detector plug.
Oh, okay, that's what you did.
He wanted that, and we got to change the oil on it
Yeah, we still gotta service it.
and did the brakes. But yeah, it's ready to go, and we did the sensor.
Nice.
So it drives perfect now.
Yep.
Every time I drive a 458, I'm like, God damn it, this car's so
Hmm.
good.
We were talking about that. We're like, man, it's just such a good balanced car.
Yeah.
Like every time you drive one, you're like, it's just so good. It's not the best at certain things, but it's just super good at everything.
Yeah. It just feels right when you sit in it and you're driving it. You're like, all right, this feels good.
That's really strange. The Instagram comments don't publish here.
Yeah.
So someone
I forgot
asked,
to do Instagram.
what do you think of a 2022 Maserati Levante Trofeo, 22,000 miles? Isn't that an SUV?
I think if you want to lose money, that's a great car to buy.
If you like lighting your money on fire, buy a new Maserati.
The Trofeo, I think, is the V8 version of it. I think it's a twin turbo V8, or no, not V8, V6, twin turbo V6.
I don't know anything about them because it's an SUV, and I don't look up
It's
SUVs.
it's a Chrysler. It's like it got a bunch of Chrysler electronics
Really?
and stuff in it. Yeah.
So you have a Chrysler product badged by Maserati. That sounds awful.
And the engine is derived from Ferrari in some form. I don't really know.
There you go. Free consultation. Do not
Yep.
buy.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a
They're
V8?
they're okay. They're okay. Richard bought his wife one of those.
Yeah,
a
he actually
brand new
said
one.
it was okay. Other than he said the service was awful.
Yeah. Well, and then when it was out of warranty, it was worth like $15,000 or something.
Oh yeah, Richard called and he's like, "Hey, do you guys want to buy it?" And I'm like, "Sure." Let me look up the values, and I looked at the values, and I'm like, Jesus, I thought it'd be worth double what it actually was worth.
Oh man.
Really, is that low?
It was that low.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that car.
Well, I mean that's kind of how all Maseratis are, right? They just depreciate like crazy. I mean, they've got to be right up there with like Jags and Range Rovers as some of the like hardest depreciating things.
I think they're more. I mean,
Probably
They might be
more.
number one. I feel like they're
Yeah.
number one. We're number one.
No, Tesla might be number one.
Ooh, now they are. Yeah.
They
Jeez.
tank it. Yeah, Josh, you got one or two of them, right?
I have one,
That's
yeah.
just-
I love it, but I bought it very depreciated.
Hmm.
I bought it for 1/3 of what it sold for new,
Wow.
and it's only 3 years old.
Oh God.
Yeah,
That was what, like 100 and something thousand when it
so
was new?
like 120 grand new. I got a plaid, a Model S plaid.
Oh,
Man.
so bad.
I saw Hertz is doing another round of dumping Teslas. So
Oh, dude, they're always. Oh, if anybody wants a
Oh.
Tesla, I can get you hooked up.
That
It's a
that
great
one-
daily driver.
that one dude stopped emailing us the list every day.
Yeah, you did.
We were on this list for the Hertz cars, and he would send us the daily list of Teslas for sale. And I'm not even joking. At one point, there was like 2,000 or 3,000 of them on this. It was an Excel
Yeah.
spreadsheet. It just all it did was list the year, miles, color, options,
And
and how
location.
much they wanted for it. And it was like 2,000 cars long.
Sam,
Oh my god!
The panel
was
gaps
small.
are fine on the Model S. It's more on the 3 and the Y that it's a problem.
Mm.
I think the quality is people bash on Tesla for bad quality, but they're really not that bad, in my
Really?
opinion. They're not as bad as people say.
have they seen McLaren?
It's not on it's not on the level of like a Lexus or a BMW or a Mercedes, but it's better than a Toyota or a Honda or something.
Wait,
They're-
what?
Quality of the materials they use is pretty
Right.
good.
Mm,
And you're paying for the tech, you're paying for the technology, you're paying for the battery.
yeah, exactly this right here. How about them panel gaps?
Yeah, I saw that. They're fine.
Mm,
What if there's a bit of ownership bias in there?
mm,
No.
yeah.
I mean, if you're saying it's good, you
I mean, it's not
eye for
it's
detail.
it's not great. It's not I mean, it's better than an economy car.
Huh.
yeah. Okay.
And it makes you like almost go dizzy with how fast
And I
it
can
is.
go 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, so I don't
Yeah.
really care what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, if you buy them cheap, it's like yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's
when you
fine.
did drag strip mode the other day going to lunch, it was like, holy crap, it's not gonna end.
Yeah, no, that car is stupid fast.
I hate, by the way, being passenger in those damn things. Because
Oh,
first
yeah.
of all, like you lose your stomach and whatever, and you just feel like, oh crap, you know. But if the driver just guns it when you're not paying attention, you're like it's you're like, oh, God, my neck. Yeah. Anyway. Is a 997 GT3 4.0. I think it's supposed to be worth 1 million. I
don't
mean,
think they're a million yet.
no, it's not. And if someone pays that much for it, they're dumb. But I'm sure someone will eventually. I wouldn't like. There was that GT3 RS that was on the wholesale auction this week. The orange one.
How much was that going for?
What did I say? It was like 350 or 4. It was 350. It wasn't terribly priced. 700K with 6 days to go. It's a lot of smoking crack going on.
Yep.
Well, someone's gonna live out their best dream by giving away all their money to someone else who's gonna live out their best dream for getting a bunch of money.
Yeah. No
And
kidding.
the car is likely just going to sit there
Yeah.
until they're done. The
That poor
euphoria
car's
wears
gonna
off,
rot.
and then some other rich guy will buy it.
Oh, speaking of cars that sit there and rot. So we've harped on like buy the cars that have miles, buy the cars that gets driven, drive your cars, right? So we sold a very low mile 430 recently.
It was
And
under 10,000 miles.
under 10,000 miles, and the car had sat, a lot, obviously, because low miles. And the poor guy, I feel bad for him because like he drove it home and then it started having some issues. We fixed these issues, even though we didn't have to, but we thought it was the right thing to do. And then he's since then had like 2 or 3 other issues pop up, and it's like whack-a-mole.
It's all the common 430 stuff, but the car
Really?
only's got 7,000 miles on it, and it's having all the issues that 430s have.
Yeah, and it's like because now he's actually driving it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it sat there, all the stuff that happens to these cars happened to it, and now it's actually being driven. It's like all of them are coming to a head.
Yeah. It's real. So he paid more for low mileage, and he's now having
Yeah,
to pay even more just to get it drivable.
Right.
yeah.
So like if you're gonna actually drive the car, buy the 20,000 mile car, buy the 30,000 mile
Mhm.
car.
Dang.
Like it sucks, man, because like I feel horrible for him, but it's like, obviously at this point we're definitely not doing anything because it's been over a month.
Yeah.
But we're at least like helping him, like trying to be like, yeah, here's what we think is wrong with it, helping him troubleshoot the problem. Because tonight, like tonight he's like, hey, I got this error code, you know what it is, and it was the variator.
Oh shit.
I'm like, oh man,
What
like,
error?
P0024.
It's
So
a variator. There's 4 little motors that control the timing,
Oh yeah.
and they're underneath the valve cover.
it's basically saying the timing's too advanced or too retarded. So it's like one of 3 things: either the variator's bad, the variator's plug is bad, or the cam position sensor is bad.
Hmm.
So I was like, ugh, man, you really want that's one of those you really want it to be the cam position sensor.
Right.
I like this question. My opinion is my favorite 911 is the 997 GT3.
My favorite is the one that we don't own.
Yeah. My favorite's one the other guy has that I don't have to deal with.
Oh, nobody here likes Porsches except for
I need
me.
to look in a textbook to see what. all
I think the
models
best
are.
looking might be the 997 or the 930.
The
I have
930 is, if for air cooled, 930 is my favorite.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
the
930.
964 is a good car too, but
I like the look of the 930 more than the 964, just
Yeah, I was
because
gonna say
guess-
I like the 930s.
that was what like you grew up thinking of Porsche should look like. Like the big ass whale tail, the big hips, that sort of stuff. It looked so iconic. Like that was the classic Porsche look. And I feel like it's funny if you put a 930 next to a brand new Porsche, the 930 looks like it's like a economy car. It's so small, like it's tiny.
I think
Oh.
what is it? The 993. I like the look of that
Yeah.
one.
The 993 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Love the gasket video. Josh, WTF?
what gasket video? Oh, Valve
had
cover gasket.
valve cover gasket. Yeah.
Did you do something in it, Josh?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
What?
I think he's mad because I didn't do anything.
Oh. Okay.
He was taking shots tonight.
That's okay.
Mm.
I did film when I did the suspension on the 599. I finally filmed a video, so
This is
when
such
I'm done with that,
this
it'll
is
come out.
this is the internet myth perpetuated by Ferrari chat. So you can
Oh.
just it's complete bullshit.
But
I
they
owned a
changed something in 2012, and that has to mean something.
no,
Dan.
actually it's 2013.
Oh, okay.
2013.
That's how much I know about 458.
Yeah, but hey, yeah, they did update they always kind of do like a mid refresh somewhere historically, and it was 13 for the 458s, but they got rid of the burbles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So I actually prefer the 10s through 12s on the 458s.
Drink.
But that's such bullshit. We know of lots of people with 10s. They're fine. I drove my 10, never had any problem except for the throttle potentiometer. That was it.
So
And
all
I-
else being equal, if someone was between a 10 and a 13 or an 11 and a 14, you wouldn't steer them one way or the other.
No.
If the prices were the
There you
same,
go.
I'd get the newer one just because it's
Yeah,
newer.
I mean, if the prices are the
Sure.
same, you want the newer one. If everything else is equal, but see exactly, Rick Sue. I've owned my 2010 for 8 years now, at 18,000 miles, no major problems.
No major problems, just a lot of minor problems.
The 458 really, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it has minor stuff, but it's more
It's pretty
reliable than a
damn solid.
430.
I mean, the only big thing that really goes wrong with the 458 is the speed sensor in the transmission can go out.
Mm.
And I feel like
That's every generation Ferrari of that generation, the California,
just-
the F12.
yeah, it's just that transmission had that issue. It seems to have been fixed in the 488s and later cars. I don't know. They definitely did like a change to the transmission design because you can feel the difference in the transmission. It's pretty substantial between the 458 and 488.
hmm
But
Oh, Tyler, did you did you have any other problems with after that not being able to shut it off
Nope.
situation? And you've driven it?
Yeah, I've driven it. I've washed it, trying to see if it was water in the camera, and
oh, yeah. My
Crazy.
458 did have that fuel filler
yeah,
thing. Okay, two things.
Hmm.
In which I wouldn't call major. It was like, you know,
the valve cover gasket leaked when you screwed it up when you put it back on. That's three
That was my-
things.
that was my fault. But valve cover gaskets, I'm not gonna really consider that like
Yeah, I know.
that's just
Just
Ferrari's valve cover gaskets leak. Period.
Yep.
All of them. Like if you own a Ferrari and it's more than 10 years old, you probably have a leaking valve cover gasket.
Mhm.
You know, but like it never left me stranded. It never like broke on the side of the road. It had like wonky weird things. Like sometimes it wouldn't, like you'd turn it on, you'd push the start button, and it would like wig out, reboot, and then it was fine.
I remember on the tour it had something with the dash, right?
Oh, that was because that was my fault. I didn't tighten one of the ground screws.
Yeah,
That's the thing. A lot of the stuff that happened in my car was like, oh, that was my bad.
Yeah.
whoops.
Driver error.
I still say the 458 is not the car of the decade. I think it's peak Ferrari. I think it might even be the best car ever made, period.
Peak attainable Ferrari, right?
I think it's just peak car.
Hmm.
Like it's the best street car ever made. Best. Not necessarily like the best for you or the most exciting or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like I still like my GT40 more than the 458, but
Yeah.
the 458 is a better car. For sure. I mean, stuff happens, you know. It's not to say that they're perfect cars. Shit's gonna break. It's still a car.
Yep.
So, major difference between 458 and 488, basically twin turbos versus naturally aspirated. 458's naturally aspirated, 488's twin turbo. That's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Can you daily a 360? I mean, if you want to.
You could daily a 360.
Sure, it's actually got a reasonably good sized trunk. It's gonna be a little bit annoying because you're gonna worry about it every time you park it anywhere.
I mean, it especially here, like it takes a while to warm up. So
Oh yeah. 360s take
kinda-
forever to warm up.
yeah. So if it's like below 60, which it is a lot, you're having to wait 5-10 minutes.
Oh yeah. The 458 does have the carbon buildup as they
Oh,
get
yeah.
older. I mean, you don't have to do that until it's like 40, 50,000 miles, and you don't even have to, but you will. I mean, when I cleaned mine, I could feel the difference. Like it was like, holy shit.
Isn't
It
that
really-
I forget which one it is. Isn't that an issue with all? Is it direct fuel injected
Direct-
or port?
Yep.
Yeah, it's all direct.
direct
Okay.
injection.
So that's gonna be a problem with any direct injection car. Like,
Correct.
I thought
Okay.
that's what the Italian tune-up was for.
It helps, but there's no way around it. Without some fuel spraying on the valves, it's never gonna get totally clean.
Mm.
Perfect steering is dog shit, in my opinion. After owning one, way better steering exists in other cars. Way too light and barely gives you feedback.
it
I
is
don't
like
disagree about the feedback. I do think it is a little bit too light and too throwy. Like it's almost like they cranked up the steering ratio too much. Like if you sneeze, you're changing lanes. You
It
know,
just wants to turn.
The throttle is like that too. It's very sensitive.
it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it make the car feel lighter though.
I don't know. I mean, when I tracked my 458, it was phenomenal on the track. Like all of the light steering and the feedback and the sensitivity and whatever was super, super nice on the track.
here's a good question.
Well, I just put one up.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
All right, V10 or
Um,
570.
How much do
feel
you
like
want to
the-
suffer?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
What's your budget?
I think there's other options that you should look at. I think you should look at like a 911 turbo. I mean, for that money, you could get a cheaper 458
or 430.
or a
Yeah.
really nice 430.
I mean, the only thing is like the R8 and the 570 are going to be much faster than anything else we said except the turbo.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I personally find the R8 boring. Like, I think it looks boring. The McLaren's exciting. It looks exciting, but it depends on which year McLaren. I'd buy a later 570 where they kind of sorted out some of the issues.
Yeah. Those seem to be more bulletproof, but they still will have McLaren issues.
It's still a McLaren.
Yeah.
But yeah. Amen. Scud steering is perfection.
Really.
Pretty
Well,
close.
a dialed in 430 is pretty good too, if it's
Yeah.
dialed in right.
Yeah, lots of feedback, very analog feeling. It's got just enough weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the 488's not quite as twitchy as the 488 is not as twitchy as the 458.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit,
100%.
and actually the suspension is way more compliant. It's like I remember it's like, there's you know how it is. You drive the same road, you feel the same bumps. And when I was driving Harry's 488 after we did the tune and everything, I was driving it on a road right by my house. I remember going over some really rough bumps, and I was like, man, that was really smooth, like notably smoother than the 458. I was like, wow. But at the same time, it's still really composed. So they definitely had like way better suspension. It's got better shocks and stuff.
The 48 like steering weight feels the same as the 650, if that says anything. Like it's definitely higher than the 458.
I like the steering on the 650 though. It feels
Yeah.
pretty good.
Oh, it feels really good. Yeah.
What do you mean? What would you guys expect for a 437 for?
If he's claiming 30K in mods, what does that mean? Does he have like a turbo on it, or is it some
Yeah,
stupid wheels? Or
I mean, 118K for a 430 with only how many miles? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. There's
And
a lot.
what are the mods?
Yeah, because the
Like, what do you
mods
spend
they
30
actually
grand
hurt.
on?
Like if it's got a bunch of body kit and shit, it actually hurts the value. There's a white 430 that's the most disappointing car on earth. We've seen it for sale for a while, and someone put stupid air suspension and all that dumb shit in it and totally ruined the car. And they've been selling it for like 80 grand and no one will buy it because it's like you fucked this car. Like it's piece of crap now. Like it's a, you know, I don't know. It's just some stupid ass car that looks terrible. And, you know, got like a wing, all this shit on it. You're just like, yeah. Exactly this right here. R8s are underwhelming.
I have a soft spot for R8s because I owned one. I had a gated R8 and it was great. I liked that car. It did everything well. Mine was a muted color. It was dark gray with all the carbon stuff on it, so it was kind of low key, but it was a great car.
My mods included a working actuator.
Well, there's 30 grand right there.
Yeah. I'm in the market for a supercar. I'm going back and forth between a GTR, 458 Italia, Superleggera LP, or Huracan 610-4. I mean, scratch off the GTR because
Yeah,
it's
the
not a
GTR's got to go.
Yeah, especially if you already have a track toy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, as much as I like the Superleggera, I'd do a Huracan over a Superleggera. It's a much more refined car.
Put a 4-wheel drive one.
I don't know.
Well, he's already got a track car, so the Super G would be.
True. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, for me, it's between the 458 and the Superleggera.
I mean, I'd take the 458 over any of those for sure.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. But
yeah, I don't know the Lamborghini. I haven't driven a Huracan -4, but the Lamborghini like 4-wheel drive makes it super heavy. So
yeah,
just consider that. Like if you're used to, you know, ZR1 or whatever 1LE, it's gonna be different. Test drive it.
Yeah. It has
this guy.
Oh, sorry. Well, you click first. You click. I'll
This guy had asked earlier 570 versus R8 or whatever, and then he said, "I'm okay with issues. I own Range Rovers." I don't know. Maybe. Well, it depends on your budget. I would look at the turbos if you just want like a nice touring car to have some fun in that's fast, or a GT3 if you want to go on the track and stuff. Older GT3. Just depends on what your budget is.
Mm-hmm.
New GT3s are 300. Yeah. They're crazy.
Yeah. Don't
Good alternatives for 300 grand. I mean,
yeah.
F8.
A Scud.
Yeah. Scud. F8.
If you want to spend a little more, you could get up to a Speciale or a Pista. But that's going to hold its value.
Yeah, a little is like double.
Well, no, there's cars in the 400s with miles on them.
All right. Oh yeah, STO. Greg's trying to talk himself into one.
Oh yeah, that's right. He keeps. Okay, here we go. My wife leaves this up. I need to get in a car. Best 4-seat GT cars around the 50K range. That's also fun. New or used? Used.
Yeah.
There's lots of options. New.
I'd get a Plaid if I were you.
Yeah, electric or gas. That's.
Oh yeah, is this supposed to be like a daily commuter? Because actually, it's not a terrible thing to get electric, but
you could get 2 Levantes.
His and hers.
Yeah, well, you got the spare for when it's broken.
Yep. Oh my god.
Such asses.
God, we're getting a lot of chats. I can't even keep up with them.
Yeah.
It's consulting night.
Yeah, here we'll follow up with this guy. Yes.
Just get any year, just get it checked out.
Yeah.
Any of the years are fine.
Any year's fine. We were just talking about that. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
The whole early model ones are worse is bullshit. It's not true. No, there's 16Ms I've seen in the 400s, but they're up there now.
They're very
Still
rare,
don't get
but I think they're overpriced. But
That's the funny thing to me. It's like just because they made less of them, but like, hold on a minute. You're gonna take the Scud, which is supposed to be like the lightweight, track-focused street car, and then you're gonna add in a shitload of weight with the convertible top and reduce a lot of the rigidity so that it sucks. But because they only made 499 of them, or is it 599? Whatever. That's worth a crap load more, and it doesn't make any sense to me. So I would not
suggested a Jeep for that guy. Jeep is the worst freaking car you could possibly buy for a daily driver. It's like they're such turds. I don't know why people like them so much. Especially the Gladiator. The Gladiator is like the worst truck. Whatever you want to call that thing, it's just a piece of shit.
Yeah, the bed's only a foot deep or whatever, right?
Yeah, I mean, and there's no cabin room inside. The engine is crap. The reliability is crap. I don't like them. I saw one the other day and it just pissed me off when I looked at it. Like, why do people buy these things? I don't get it.
Josh driving down the street. Josh shows up at work. He's all mad. What's wrong? I saw a Gladiator on the way to work. Jeep is great if you love replacing every part of your drivetrain annually. Oh man.
Oh, he was asking about your Jeep.
I sold my Jeep. I sold my Jeep a while ago. I like old Jeeps, like a TJ
Real
Wrangler
Jeep.
with a manual. I mean, sure,
Or
I'll drive
CJ.
that. I'm not going to daily drive it though.
CJs are
But
awesome.
The thing is people go buy a Gladiator for like 60 grand now.
Oh my
And they
God,
drive
they're
like
that much?
they drive like shit.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
I remember that Gladiator we had was horrible.
Yeah, we rented one on our honeymoon, and it was like all just Florida highway driving. And
They are terrible,
brutal.
dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
the-
Like I need to be
the-
on the rocks with this thing.
Yeah, the steering is so vague.
I had to. I was just steering it either left or right just to keep it in the lane.
Hey,
Yeah,
look who's in the chat. How about a trade? How about a trap trade?
Yeah, right. I'll consign
We
it.
have a 6-wheel Jeep we could work a deal with you on that has a wheel popping out of the back.
You've already test driven it. So.
Yeah, you've already driven it, so you know it worked. Worked past tense.
Shit.
Oh man.
Oh, that's funny.
I should send you a link. Kubi, you should join us if you're not too bored.
S63, Greg, actually I've had a few of those and they're actually pretty cool. They're pretty good cars too, and they're fast. Depends which generation, if you're going to go with like the 6.2 liter or the twin turbo. But
I know nothing about those things.
they're cool. It's a S class, but it's 2-door.
Oh. Okay.
You're
Oh,
probably talking newer one, but whatever.
crap. Where do let me send him a link.
Oh, he wants to join?
Yep.
Sure, he's bored.
Nice.
Here's his answer to the 6x6, though.
Well, we had to try.
Oh man.
Oh no, I don't know if I have your email.
I wonder
I know
were
you have
those expected problems that he ran into.
Do I?
I mean, if the only problem with it is that center console, the shifter, that's not a big deal.
Oh, there it is.
Was there
Yeah.
other issues that it had?
Here, David's asked this twice. So we should pull this up.
118.
There, sent.
How many miles are on it? What color is it? Is it a
In one of
spider
those,
or a
one of
coupe?
those mods, right?
Yeah, the mods we don't know. The mods,
Because the mods could be driving up or down.
right?
Probably down.
118 for like a 30,000 mile spider. That's not red would probably be okay.
Hmm.
But if it's a coupe and it has good options, it's worth more than that. So it's a deal. Rosso Corsa 46.5. That's a lot of miles for that money. You
It
better have
depends
some
how well
service
it's been
records.
maintained.
If it's been maintained well, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if it's in good condition, up to date on everything, you don't need to put any money into it. That's not bad. That's actually
Maybe that
pretty-
answers his question. There's not like it's not hiding anything.
Yeah, it totally depends. That's the problem. Like why we hate giving values on a lot of these cars is without really looking into it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it could be a good deal. It could be a crap deal. We just don't know. Yeah,
Because there could be one thing driving it way down.
yeah. All it needs to like to make it go from a good deal to a bad deal is like, okay, the clutch is at 95% worn. Okay, well now it's not such a good deal.
Yeah.
You know.
If it seems too good to be true, it most likely is. So whatever you think the deal is, add that
Yeah.
much on the price.
What's that?
Jeez, when you tilt your head that way, it becomes all forehead.
We got a creeper in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Oh, there it
there.
is.
Nice.
It's home.
Hello.
What's
It's
up?
home.
Is the echo okay? It gave me
Yeah,
a warning
it's
about the
fine.
echo being bad if I don't use headphones.
Oh,
No,
no, it's
I
fine.
think
fine.
it gives you that by default.
Oh, okay. Cool. Hello.
What's up?
When did you get
Oh.
it back?
Well, there's a video coming, but I just drove. I got back about 3 a.m. yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Oh, and you drove it home?
700 miles.
Nice.
Like a boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Mhm.
See, that's
Any issues? Okay. So some lights came on.
Okay, so we'll wait for the video.
Mhm.
As long as reverse works, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So what's
Man,
going on? You guys trying to buy hoopties? I see.
Always.
Always. You got
Yeah.
anything you want to sell?
Yeah, right.
I mean, sure. Yeah. There's one.
Look around.
Let's do a deal.
Are you guys
live.
doing bids?
Yeah, buy bids.
There you go.
There's one.
72,000 mile 2003 XKR.
Ooh.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is that a coupe or a spider?
It's a convertible.
Okay.
I already got it from. It still has the Mannheim stickers on it, which is always a good sign, right?
Oh, you got it from Mannheim.
So
Oh,
you haven't checked for fluid leaks yet.
Oh, actually, it's fine. We so it wouldn't sell. So our local everything dealer for new cars, they have their own sort of Mannheim satellite sale, and they couldn't sell this thing
Oh,
week
okay.
after week after week because somebody had slightly lowered the suspension, and then they have these
Huh.
little pucks on top that are rubber.
Oh.
And it had disintegrated to where the car was just slammed in the front. It looked terrible, but it drove great. So I fixed that, and yeah, 70,000 miles and top works. It's quiet, supercharged. It's a good one.
Those are
Nice.
cool.
Yeah,
Are you going to offer 23,000?
23,000.
You're strong. You're strong, Tyler. Don't be offering him 23.
No, Hugh did. Hugh did right
Oh.
there.
Oh, Hugh did? Oh, sold.
It's Canadian though.
Sold.
Do the
Yeah,
conversion.
Canadian.
Even
Fine. I
Canadian,
mean,
it's sold.
If it was like yen, I'd say no. But 23,000, just about anything's good.
what happens to that Mach 1? You still have it?
Oh yeah, I don't think I should keep.
Oh, there it
but-
is. There it is.
Yeah, 12,000 miles on it.
Oh, see, I want that car.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
You can have it. It's
Yeah. That thing's worth a lot, though.
that's why I paid for it.
What'd you pay for it?
20.
20?
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
too bad.
That's not bad. Actually, that's
That's-
pretty good.
Because I was working Barrett Jackson, and I just, I'm doing the live TV coverage, and that mostly keeps me out of trouble. But then I know I walked past that car earlier, and knew it was really nice, and I saw it was struggling to get to 20, so I just waved my hand once, and then they sold it to me while I'm doing TV. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So, but yeah, it's back. The thing about it, like even when they're low mileage, the leather quality wasn't very good on these things
Yeah.
when they were new. So that
No.
like but it was all still soft.
Doesn't that have the Alcantara center insert or no?
I don't think no.
No,
Not
it's
on
just
that
one.
rib.
Okay.
It's retro. But these
Yeah.
usually this leather just gets rock hard in a second, and this one's still soft. And it's
Yeah, I'll say that generation of Mustang, the leather's usually just cracked to hell.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, other than the paint correction, just because I don't think it's ever had any wax on. I think it's just in someone's garage with a cover on it forever.
Oh,
So,
poor thing.
How about that Escalade next to it?
oh, that's my baby. She's about to turn over 100,000 miles.
Oh, that's
Oh,
pretty
man.
low for that.
Yeah, I've had it for 3 years. I bought it for $8,000 traded in at the same dealership that I bought this from. So
Nice.
No kidding.
yeah, and it had a transmission replacement on it, but hadn't had to do a thing in 3 years, and then finally got the service ride control light, which you've been in the hoopty business for a long time, Josh. So you know.
What's that? That's probably moisture in the pump.
Well, it was the shocks that were leaking too, so it was the pump and
Yeah.
shocks. So when you see that on an Escalator or a Denali, then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
poof, and $2,000's gone. So
Well, yeah, if you have to pay someone to do it, it's $2,000.
right, yeah, the pump and well, if you do the crappy shocks, then I suppose it's about $500 in parts. But, yeah,
Jeez.
Those are great. Those are bulletproof cars, though.
yeah, I'd tell you that.
Oh,
No.
for a shooting target.
Is that what I think it is?
The Fisker Karma.
Yeah, no, I don't want that.
I call it the Fister.
Is that what it did to you after you bought it?
Got me. Yep.
Oh man.
You're completely ignoring your chat people, but yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
I'm looking. There's not too many new comments yet.
What about the old Corvette? I really like that car.
The
That car's
62?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. It was bring a trailer just on a slow day. It's really clean, drives fine. I think with fees it was like 44,000.
Yeah, that's
So-
pretty good.
I thought it was a
Wow.
good buy. Yeah.
That is a good idea. Someone in the chat said you need to get Fister as your custom plate for the Fisker.
Oh geez. Well, the problem with it is the blower motor. Nothing I can do to get it to turn on. I mean, we replaced it. It matches up with the Corvette, the part, and the electronics are so proprietary, Fisker
Yeah.
only. And there's
Yeah.
one guy that is very confident he can fix it, and he's called Fisker Philly, and he's in Philadelphia. So I have to ship the car to him to
Oh
fix
my
it.
God.
And it's just,
Oh Lord.
but he's like the only guy in the world keeping these things going, and I'm
Wow.
just terrified. Otherwise, everything else works fine. The battery's good. The engine's good. It's got the
What you should
same motor
do,
as the Cobalt SS, that 2-liter turbo.
instead of doing that, you should just have the Wizard wire up a switch and power 12 volts to it and put a resistor on there so you could just manually turn it on whenever you want and put a switch somewhere on your dash.
I suppose. Yeah, that's classy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the K.
yeah.
Oh,
Man.
Right.
I do feel like we need to buy more hoopties because there's.
Well, we
something
have
fun
a.
about
We,
it. He's like, no.
Is your goal? Your goal is to make money. I think. If I saw your videos where you're like, we're not paying ourselves right now, so I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
Dude, we had a couple of rough ones, man. The supercar market, I'm sure you saw it, it's been weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so weird right now. Everything, all the prices are listed way up here, but no one's buying unless it's way down here.
Yeah.
And of course, as a dealer, we have to buy it below what people are willing to pay. So we couldn't buy anything for 2-3
Mhm.
months. We didn't buy a single supercar.
Yep.
We just couldn't. There was
Well,
nothing.
And with me, the Bugatti shopping and just anything, like I decided that I wanted to do this lease write-off thing. I don't know if you followed Stradman and all
Yeah,
this stuff
yeah, that's
recently with
awesome.
the taxes and stuff. And I was just like, I knew like it was the right thing to do, but then like going for a Carrera GT, Porsche, everybody wants 2022 prices. I just couldn't get one. Same with
Yeah,
300 SLs.
yeah.
All this, there's plenty sitting for sale and just nobody wanting to let it
Yep.
go for what they're actually selling for.
Hmm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, at Barrett Jackson, where I got that. Did you talk about your 575 being there yet? Your old
No,
hated
oh, yeah.
575?
So Hoovy sends me a text and he's at the auction. And he's like, look how cheap this 575 went for. And by the way, it's a manual. And I look at the VIN and I'm
Manual
like,
conversion.
oh my, yeah, it was a manual conversion. I'm like, oh my God. I look up the VIN and that's my old car. So we sold that car. I don't like telling.
well, that
prices,
dude
but
took a 50K bath on that car, I think.
more than that.
More. Yeah,
More
'cause
than
the car
50K.
was like, so you got to think of fees at Barrett
Oh, the
Jackson.
fees, yeah.
So
yeah.
it sold for, I think $100,000 with fees.
105, wasn't it?
Yeah, 105. So
Oh
it
my
brought
God.
mid-90s on the
Dang.
block, and then he loses 8% of that. So his
Oh,
take-home check
man.
was probably around like 85 or something like that after entry
Dude.
fee and everything else. Yeah.
He lost almost half.
Oh shit.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah.
crazy
Oh,
part
man.
is, like, whoever bought that car could turn around and sell it the next day for 140.
Oh, I felt like an idiot. But once again, like I'm busy, so that's the good thing about it, me doing the live TV coverage on Barrett Jackson, where I'm like I'm just thinking about what I'm going to say and the TV coverage and all that stuff. Because if I was just going to the auction for fun, I'd be so it'd be bad. But yeah, I mean that was a good opportunity. Obviously, I could have flipped it, but
That was.
Are you gonna go to Barrett in January in Scottsdale?
if they hire me back, yeah, they're talking about hiring me
Well,
back.
I mean, even if
never
they
know.
don't hire you, are you gonna go?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I probably wouldn't, but yeah, the last time the highlight was William Shatner, and he was selling his Jaguar. He had his
Yes.
what's the 2-door convertible right now? I'm
Oh, the F-Type.
F-Type R 550 horsepower V8, and he had it for 8 years. And I'm a big Star Trek fan. That's why it's called Car Trek, because of my fandom with Star Trek.
Nice.
And so I got to interview him, and I did the Star Trek II Wrath of Khan death and collapsed, and did the Spock live long and prosper thing, and
Yeah.
and he took all that. And I was just so riding high from that experience that then one of the other guys working the block said, "Well, why don't you bid on it, Tyler?" And I was like, "Well, I might. I mean, who doesn't want a car that William Shatner farted in the seats?" And
Yeah.
like, so because I try to be a little more professional and polished when I'm working the History Channel on the block. It's a different crowd, obviously.
Yeah.
And, you know, they want to put their best foot forward, but then, you know, the really idiotic Hoovy comes out sometimes, and I'm worried one day it's going to get me fired, you know.
When you were bringing that up on one of your other videos when you were talking with April about that, and I was like, if they fire you over something that stupid, like, they clearly don't understand modern media very well.
Well, no, they wouldn't, but just things slip out, you know. And then, like the Wizard and I, when we're doing the Car Wizard stuff, the things I have to edit out because we're like 15-year-old boys, you know, and then we'll go down this big avenue of you know, butt stuff, and it's just yeah.
That's the problem. Like, yeah, whenever the camera's off is when the best stuff comes out, unfortunately.
Yep.
And you're like, dang it, I really can't use this on YouTube.
Well, no, the camera's on, but I couldn't put it in the video,
Yeah.
obviously. 'Cause
You're like, okay, that'll get me demonetized. That'll definitely get me demonetized.
Well,
that
but
will too.
not necessarily. It's just you know, got families coming up, and it's like I love your videos because my kid can watch it, and sometimes
Yeah.
like, you know, sometimes
Honestly, so when I first started, I cursed like a sailor in all my videos. I didn't bleep out anything.
Mhm.
And the email that finally changed my mind was someone was like, hey, you know, I love your videos, but I watched them with my 10-year-old, and he started like seeing you cursing all the time. Like, oh man, like, why you gotta do that to me?
right.
So that made me feel.
You still do the Quaxer one from? Right?
No, I just do quacks. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and that's because I feel like shit isn't a real swear word. It's just shit. You know, like it's just
He's like, Dan, now you got my 10-year-old quacking every time.
yeah, which is fine. They can quack, but you know, I get it. Like that the F-bomb's kind of jarring, but you know, like shit, really? Come on. That's not a swear word. That's just a word.
Yeah.
Like if my 3-year-old ran around and he was like shit, I'd be like, meh.
Yeah.
It happens.
Well, I need to clean the floor, Dan, because you do have your leftover tire marks and stuff from the wheel thing.
Really?
Like
Nice.
because this geometry of a 6-wheel car is so weird.
Yeah.
You know, when it's dragging the wheel when you're turning, so it's leaving like
Oh, no.
That's from it?
that's all from your car. Yeah, it'll
Oh,
rub
yeah.
off.
Oh, damn.
I'll go with my
Yeah.
floor cleaner.
Damn,
funny.
dude. Are you sure you don't want that thing?
No, but the funny part is, you know, I was telling Dan that I was buying a Bugatti, and he's basically telling me you're an idiot. But then, like, he pulls up to my house in a 6-wheel Jeep with a 4-cylinder and this battery hybrid system that's mounted like with an on-off switch you'd buy at Home Depot, and he's telling me I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Hey
I
now.
love it.
The best part was actually so Hoovy's like poking around and he looks up he finds the switch on the gas pedal, right? The truck's
for the
for
the battery, yeah.
It's completely off. And so he
Mhm.
pushes the accelerator pedal down, the truck goes boom and like moves. We're like, it's always on?
It lurched.
Oh
we were
my
like,
God.
holy crap. Like, what kind of janky shit is this? Like
Right.
they didn't wire it into the ignition system. But
Yeah.
anyway, Someone's gonna love that thing once we.
Someone's
fix
gonna
it.
love it. That has, I mean, 1,000% has never seen one of your videos. He is not your audience. That's
Yeah.
for sure. It
No,
will be. It'll be. If you watch his YouTube, it'll be all like guns and explosions.
Oh
and,
yeah. Well, you know
yeah.
what's hilarious is our contact at Cars and Bids is salivating for us to list it there.
Oh right.
They're like, please.
They
list
wanted
this
us.
thing."
He asked if we would take a road trip to San Diego in the Jeep and have Doug review it.
Oh God.
We're just like,
Oh.
I don't want to go to San Diego in that Jeep.
No,
Yeah,
not
jeez.
that thing.
Well, when Trump pardons that shaman guy, whatever, that's in jail right now,
He'll
and
buy
he
it.
gets out and he makes his book
There
deal
you
and
go.
everything else, that would be the first thing he buys, I think. The guy with the horned hat. Yeah.
Hey, there's the 5. Is that the 599?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
We're working on one right now that's real similar color.
Yes.
No. That's the Venecia. That's totally
It's
different.
not the
Care-
same. It's
Careful with the pronunciation. So Shmi was
I-
visiting me. And
Venecia.
nope. Dan messed me up on this because
Oh.
I first heard it from Dan and I thought he was a
Don't
Ferrari
go to
enthusiast.
Dan for
So-
pronunciation.
Oh,
Right.
no.
So I thought he was right because, and we're pronouncing
No.
it like Super Mario Brothers Italian, Venecia, and Shmi, who's a little more,
Yeah.
intercontinental, hears that and cringes. He's like, Tyler, it's Venezia,
Yeah, Venecia.
not
We got our-
Venecia.
C is always CH in Italian.
Yeah. So that's what that is. I guess it's the car that I enjoy driving
Oh.
most, take on road trips, everything else.
I'm glad
and-
you still have that
Oh,
one around.
The Lambo's
think-
still there.
Oh yeah. They were supposed to come get it before
okay.
I got back. It showed up, and then the people who sold me the Bugatti forgot to book shipping. And typical shippers, then the
Well,
couple.
tell them
fell
you
out.
can
So-
keep it if they don't want it.
Yeah, right.
It's just funny. I was like, I did my whole goodbye thing because this car is supposed
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go and I was gonna be gone. I'm gone for another week after I drive the car off. So I thought there's no way it'll still be here when I get home. And you did that video on car shippers. Like, of course it's still here when I got home. Like this,
Yeah.
like it's just all kinds of stupid stuff with shippers.
Well, at least hopefully the shipper doesn't almost amputate his leg. And
Dude,
bleed
I
all
still
over.
have the image of that dude's leg sliced open in my head. I can't
Okay,
handle that stuff.
I didn't want to throw Josh under the bus, but Josh is all squeamish about that crap.
Oh,
So
really?
Josh comes in and he looks like white as a ghost. He's like, "The guy's bleeding all over the place." I'm like, okay. So I go out there and I'm like trying to help him, and I'm like, "Hey Josh, can you go get this?" And he comes out and he's like,
Dude, the dude's leg looked like a fresh steak. Someone just sliced it.
Well, what I
the sharp knife.
pictured was like that tsunami movie with Ewan McGregor and Naomi Watts. When she's walking and her legs like a flap. After
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
tsunami.
Oh.
When Dan was telling the story, that's how my mental image was.
Dude,
and he's
it
like,
was-
putting the flap back. I was like, I'm good.
Well, not only that, the dude was wearing, as the Russian shippers, they wear like flip flops or sandals
Yeah.
or whatever,
Right.
and his
Mhm.
sandal was like an inch deep of blood in his
Jesus.
sandal.
And to think he's loading up the cars. Like,
Yeah.
well, he thankfully had already loaded up the cars, so
Yeah.
they were all set. He was just about to leave. We don't know what the hell he did, but it just his sandal was squishing blood. Like you hear it going, and I was like,
Oh
and so
man.
that I didn't put it in the video, but so I'm like, I need a bottle of water for him to rinse off his shoe. So we go get a bottle of water, and he starts opening it, and I think he's about to pour it on his leg. I'm like, no, this is not sanitized. Like, you're gonna
Yeah.
pour infection straight into that wound. Like, no. The language barrier was really challenging right there.
Well, I have cameras all around my property, and a shipper showed up early for once ever.
Wow.
And it was a Russian shipper, and I was like, oh shoot, well I'm right down the road, I'll be there in 10 minutes and all that stuff. And and so I get motion detection, and he's walking around and he's walking behind my building. I was like, what is he doing? And he walks out to the field and he squats and he takes a shit.
Oh my!
Yes.
I mean, he at least
I mean, you
like
gotta
he walked
go.
to like the edge where they're like in the grass and all that, like because it's all farmland all around me. So it wasn't like like something I would be able to
Well, he
step
thought
in.
it just needs
Yeah,
some
10 hours on the
fertilizer.
road.
Oh
Right.
my
know?
God.
Yeah, didn't wipe, of course, but
Oh,
Oh,
I wasn't watching that closely. But it was
oh,
yeah. Unless
Damn.
he used his hand or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, there's
oh,
no toilet.
dude.
And these are
Oh,
the people
just corn
delivering
stalk.
our 6-figure cars.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Dan and I had a discussion today. We were like, dude, should we just start our own shipping company and like?
No,
And
Yeah,
we
you don't want the
quickly
headache.
decided, no, we're not going to do that.
no,
It's
because
it's
you couldn't get
impossible.
anybody to live in their trucks. I mean, because it's such a race to the bottom with the prices
Yeah.
and things. Like
I would
there's
say that's the
Yeah.
problem is no one wants to pay what you'd have
Mm-mm.
to charge to really do it right.
yeah,
Except
exactly.
David Lee.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I had
White glove.
a shipper that he also sold insurance or finance. Like I had a life insurance policy through him, and he prepaid, so I'd give him $5,000, and then it was good for a certain number of shipments. And he was doing that to a lot of people. Well, of course, he folded up, and
Sure.
he did things like he took a loan against a truck, and then would get an investor to give him a loan for the truck and do it at the same time. So a lot of that, bad financial fraud stuff.
Oh, nice.
And he got it all came crashing down, but he was still working as like a financial planner at one of these major institutions where they were doing financial advising and life insurance and all that stuff, and he just ghosted on me and my $5,000, but was still working there. So I thought I could call up this lending institution and like show them all this stuff. Like a lot of veterans and people lost their money and things, and they didn't do a thing. I was shocked, but yeah, it's just
Wow.
such a scummy business.
It
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
I mean, the biggest thing to me was we had a guy who we helped buy a 458, and so he's kind of like a Russian dude or whatever. He lives up in Indiana, and we were just chatting. He's like, "Hey, I was wondering if you would be willing to ship my car up." And I'm like, "Well, I will, but it costs a lot of money." And he's like, "Okay, that's fine." And he's like, "Do you mind if I pay a little extra and I could ride with you?" And I'm like, I guess, whatever. So I'm driving up shipping, with this guy. And so we're just chatting over, like 16 hours of driving or whatever. And it's, I'm like, "So what do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I own a shipping company." I'm like, "Okay, what do you like? What are you shipping? Like, like some sort of logistics, whatever." And he's like, "No, I ship cars." And I'm like, "Wait a second. You ship cars and you're paying me to ship your car?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "This makes no sense." He's like, "No, it makes absolutely all the sense." He's like, "Because I know exactly what everyone does when they ship their cars." He's like, "I know what you do and you're going to take care of it. My guys won't take care of my car." I'm like,
Right.
"So you don't even trust your own guys to
Wow.
ship your own car?" And he's like, "Nope."
Dang.
Yep.
I couldn't believe it.
Right. All right.
I
Well, I hate to say it, but I got to put kids to bed and bath
Oh, yeah.
time and all
Yep.
that
Yeah,
stuff.
me
so-
too. Mine are
Yeah.
mine are
Yeah,
sitting right there waiting for me to put them to
Okay.
bed.
Oh, so there you go. Okay. Well, we're all in the same boat. Dan's got the same thing. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll close it down. Thanks for
All
joining
right.
us, Huby.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Always good to
thanks,
see ya.
dude. See you later.
All right.
On
Good
that
night,
note,
guys.
everyone, we're gonna shut it down, everyone. We're way past our time, but thanks for hanging
Okay.
out late with us.
No
we'll see you guys.
problem. All right. See ya.
Later,
Night,
everybody.
Hang in
everyone.
there. Bye.